A lot of people are worried about the end of the world now because of the eclipse that we will have tomorrow, by the way. But I don't think anything will happen, and I will tell you why. I mean, how many times in our life we were warned about the end of the world? Through news, sometimes, through movies, through astrologies. And here's what I found in Wikipedia. This is the list of the date predicted for apocalyptic events. It started even before BC. The claimer is Simon Bar Giora, was the leader of one of the major Judean rebel factions during the First Jewish-Roman War, and Jewish Essence were a mystic Jewish sect during the Second Temple period that flourished from the 2nd century BCE to the 1st century CE. So the Jewish Essence sect of ancients saw the Jews uprising against the Romans, Judah as the final end battle which would bring about the arrival of Messiah. By the authority of Simon, coins were minted declaring the redemption of Israel. Hilary of Poitiers was bishop of Poitiers and doctor of the church. So the early French bishop announced that the end of the world would happen during this war. Martin of Tours, also known as Martin of Merciful, a French bishop, stated that the world would end before 400 AD, writing, "There is no doubt that the Antichrist has already been born, firmly established already in the early years. He will, after reaching maturity, achieve supreme power." Hudatus, also spelled like Idacus, was a late Western Roman writer and clergyman. The bishop, most of them are bishops, of Equar Flavii, modern Portugal, wrote in Chronicle his firm belief that humanity was living in the end times, marching towards its certain doom in this day when Jesus would come back and the world would end. In 500 CE, Hippolytus of Rome and Sextus and Julius Africanus was a Christian traveler. And another guy also, this Irenaeus. Irenaeus, I don't know how, a Greek bishop also. Most of them, as I said, were bishops. All three predicted Jesus would return in this year, with one of the prediction being based on the dimension of Noah Ark. Noah Ark is the ship in the Genesis flawed narrative through which God spared Noah. Another prediction was based on the dimensions of the tabernacle. I don't know what is this. According to the Hebrew Bible, the tabernacle, also known as a tent of the congregation, was a portable earthly dwelling used by the Israeli from the Exodus until the conquest of Canaan. Anyway, another prediction. Vitus of Libinana was a monk this time. Most of them are religious. The Spanish monk prophesied the second coming of Christ and the end of the world on that day in front of a large crowd of people. This another Sextus Julian also. This time it's a traveler, Christian traveler. This Christian historian revised his prediction from the year 500 to 800. Georgi of Tours was a Gallo-Romanian historian and bishop at the same time. This French bishop calculated the end would occur between 799 and 806. Theota was a Christian as well, prophetess of 9th century. This Christian declared in 847 that the world would end that year. Through later confession, the prediction was fraudulent and was publicly flogged. Flogged is the act of beating a human body with special instruments. In 1000, Pope Sylvester and others. According to several sources, various Christian clerics predicted this date, the millennium, including Pope Sylvester. As a result, riots are said to have occurred in Europe and pilgrims headed east of Jerusalem. Other historians, however, have disputed that any of these events ever took place. In 1033, various Christians, following the failure of the prediction for the 1st January 1000, some theorists proposed that the end would occur 1000 years after Jesus' death instead of his birth. So everyone is finding a reason to announce the end of the world. And as you see, others also, I will leave the link in the description. I can't read them all. In 16th century, in 17th century, in 18th century, in 19th century, and every single century, there are a lot of people always predict the end of the world. Since I lived in the 20th century, I mean, in the end of the 20th century, look at it. Also, Catholic Apostolic Church announced the end of the world. Annie Keeler, Camille Flammarion, Charles Piazzi Smith, Charles Taze Russell, and others. And let's remember from like the time where, I mean, people still maybe exists from, let's say, 1951. Also, John Gottfield Bischoff also predicted the end of the world. Gene Dixon also predicted the end of the world. George Van Tassel, Jim Jones, George Williams, Charles Manson. Oh my god, this is a killer. This is a criminal. So a criminal also is considered. Herbert Armstrong also predicted. David Berg predicted. Herbert Armstrong again. I mean, reshuddled like the previous one. Jehovah Witnesses also, they predicted that 1975 will be the end of the world. Brahma Kumis also predicted that this year will be the end of the world. And others still, let's let's check till from the year I was born, like 1985. Lister Sumrall, Rayland Jensen, Josie Arguelles, and others. And let's check a closer time to us. Like in 2000, I remember also they predicted the end of the world. And I think there is a movie about that. A lot of movies about the end of the world. Movement of the restoration of the con- commandment of God. Jerry Falwell, Tim Lane. So let's check every 10 years, like from 2000. James Harmson, New Wabian Nation. Like a lot of them like predicted the end of the world 2000, 2000, 2000 till 2000. And maybe in each year there are a lot of them. For example, in the beginning of the time, less people predicted in the same year. Like you see, every year someone will predict, but in the recent years, as you see, like for 2000, a lot of predictions. So 2001, 2003, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2010, 2011 even. As you see, in 2011, three people here, no, four people predicted. In 2012, one, two, three, also three people predicted. In 2013 as well, and go on. And even in the recent time, 4 years ago, Gene Dixon, also Dixon predicted that Armageddon will take place in 2020. She previously predicted the world would end in February 4, 1962. And as you see, there are many of them that rescheduled the end of the world. So they like I mean, to gain popularity through saying that the end of the world will be this year. Kenton Bishor. In 2012, this American pastor said the raper would occur during 2021 at the least. And the next ones, as you see, nobody is talking about 2024, just people related to eclipse now. They are talking about the end of the world, and there are others in 2026 and other years in the future. And there is even far future, like 1 million year, 300 million year, 1 million year, 600 million year, and 1 billion year, and 22 billion years. I don't know if the end of the world will happen someday, I mean in the future, but I'm sure that tomorrow is not the end of the world. So let's see, watch, and if I am wrong, so my video will not be seen by some people. So my video has only 24 hours to be watched. Otherwise, if this is the end of the world, thank you very much for being my subscribing, for being around, and see you in my next videos, and goodbye.